In this video, we are going to talk about the new Philips 806 OLED and at least 8 upgrades over last year's 805. Hello everyone, Vincent from HDTV Test here. Upgrade number 1 is HDMI 2.1. So the Philips 806 will have two HDMI 2.1 ports, and these are going to be HDMI 1 and HDMI 2 respectively. And HDMI 2 is also the eARC port, so if you wish to use eARC capabilities on your Philips 806 together with your source device, then unfortunately you will only be left with one HDMI 2.1 port on HDMI 1. Now the HDMI 2.1 ports on the Philips 806 will be using the full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth of 48 gigabits per second using fixed rate link or FRL, permitting for 12-bit 444 4K at 120 Hz. And the other thing that we need to mention is the VRR support. So the VRR range that has been spec'd for the Philips 806 is 40 Hz to 120 Hz. And it will also be supporting Freesync Premium Pro, which means that it will be compatible with HDR and VRR at the same time. Upgrade number 2 is the 5th generation P5 video processing engine. Now, if you are familiar with the P5 engine that Philips has come up with a few years ago, basically there are 5 pillars of picture quality that the video processor is going to be working on. One of it is source perfection, and then there's contrast, there's color, there's motion, and then there's also sharpness. So depending on the scene, new for 2021, there will be some AI element built in as well. So the company is using some neural network learning techniques to build a database of images that the AI system on the 5th gen P5 processor can work on and identify the types of content and then adjust these different 5 pillar elements in varying quantity to achieve the best picture quality possible for the end consumer. Which brings me to upgrade number 3, which is a new detection system that they have actually built into the 5th gen P5 processor, and that is film detection. So previously, I think the 4th generation P5 video processor with AI engine only detected, say, 5 types of content ranging from landscape to faces to moving content and then some other stuff. But new for 2021, there will also be a film detection element. So when a film or a movie is detected by the television, then it will be flagged as film. And I think owners actually are presented with a choice to select the type of picture mode that is supposed to process this film content. So I think among the options that are presented to end users will be the home cinema mode, and then there will be the pure cinema mode, and then there will be the filmmaker mode. I don't know what's the difference between pure cinema mode and also filmmaker mode, but with the home cinema mode, I would expect Philips to sprinkle in some of their film smoothing or motion interpolation to make the 24p judder more tolerable to common consumers. And then upgrade number 4 is their anti-burn-in technology based on logo detection. Now, if you have watched my review of the Philips 935 last year, and that is basically branded as OLED Plus, it had a Bowers & Wilkins soundbar, and in fact, it is actually the OLED behind me at the moment. And on that television, there is a logo detection system that serves to identify static elements on screen based on a zonal grid system. And then once static elements are detected, the TV and the AI processing chip will dim down the logos to reduce the risk of image retention and also permanent screen burn without affecting the other parts of the picture. So this technology has now been transferred across to the mid-range 806 as well. So 806 owners, if you're intending to buy this television, then you will be enjoying the most advanced anti-burn-in technology that is offered by Philips or Dolby Vision, who is the company responsible for selling and developing Philips branded televisions in the UK and Europe. Now, I hope you are enjoying the format I'm actually presenting this video in at the moment. And before you ask, this video is actually not sponsored by Philips or Dolby Vision. It is just that I have been doing these type of videos covering launches, and I thought that rather than me rambling about and talking about various stuff, it is best for me to give this video some sort of structure which help me talk about these upgrades, and also hopefully will help you identify these upgrades of the new TVs as well. So let me know in the YouTube comment section below if you like this format or you prefer to go back to my old rambling self. But obviously this video is still sponsored by someone if you had paid attention to the includes paid promotion message at the beginning of this video, so I shall tell you about the sponsor for this video. This coverage is sponsored by Richard Sounds Manchester. Call 0333 900 0086 for the best prices and expert advice for TVs, AV and Hi-Fi. Okay, upgrade number 5 is black frame insertion, or more specifically 120Hz black frame insertion. Now, if you have been following the history of Philips OLED televisions, you will know that until 2021, they didn't even have the most basic black frame insertion, not even the full frame version. But this year, they will have the most advanced 120Hz black frame insertion, which has at least 3 intensities or even more. So the company is branding this as fast motion clarity. So if you're not familiar with 120Hz black frame insertion, it means that you can vary the interval of the black frame that is inserted within the content. And the reason why we wanted to put black frames in content is because, we wanted to mimic the impulse-based displays such as plasmas and also CRTs. OLED and also LED LCDs, they are sample and hold displays, which means that each frame is held continuously until the next frame dictates a refresh, and this image persistence sticks in our retina and in our brain, causing what is perceived as motion blurring. But by inserting black frame, we are seeking to mimic the behavior of CRTs and plasmas. Now, CRTs and plasmas, their phosphor will decay, and this natural inherent phosphor decay will create a black frame and clear the retinal persistence, resulting in much clearer motion, and that's what we are trying to achieve with black frame insertion. And with 120Hz black frame insertion, you can actually fine-tune the amount of black frame that is inserted in terms of the interval. And Philips will be offering at least 4 settings, I believe, ranging from minimum to medium to maximum. And then there will also be an AI setting, which will use the 5th generation P5 processor to identify the content and decide on the amount of 120Hz black frame insertion, or variable intensity black frame insertion as I call it, that will be deployed for that particular content. And obviously there is the off switch as well, so I think there are 5 settings in total. And then upgrade number 6 will be support for the new HDR10 Plus Adaptive ambient light compensation technology based on dynamic metadata. Now, Philips supports multiple HDR formats, so the Philips 806 will be supporting the static metadata HDR10, they will be supporting the broadcast-friendly hybrid log gamma or HLG, and they will also be supporting the Dolby Vision as well as HDR10 Plus dynamic metadata formats. But new for 2021, they will be joining the HDR10 Plus Adaptive movement. So HDR10 Plus Adaptive is basically the open standard version or competitor to Dolby Vision IQ. What this means is that the TV will be using the dynamic metadata that is embedded within this HDR10 Plus content, and then take the information from the light sensor. The light sensor will be detecting the amount of ambient light in the room, and then using these two information, the processor will be making certain decisions to decide how bright these HDR images should be presented. Now, the thing is, even though the Philips 806 and also the rest of Philips, more advanced televisions for the first half of 2021, including the 9636 and also the 9506 mini LED TVs, will be supporting HDR10 Plus Adaptive, they won't be supporting Dolby Vision IQ. However, Philips claimed that the AI engine in the 5th generation P5 processor is so advanced that they can actually use the light sensor information together with the Dolby Vision bright mode to present a picture that is similar to Dolby Vision IQ and perhaps even exceed it. That's their bold claim, and I certainly would be interested to see it in action. Upgrade number 7 is compatibility with CalMAN. So for the first time in the history of Philips televisions, the 806 and also its sister 856 as well as the mini LED TVs will be compatible with CalMAN calibration software, which makes it much easier for auto-calibration. There will be direct display control, which means that the software will be talking directly to the TV, and then you can use auto-cal to calibrate SDR and also HDR10. Upgrade number 8 is Ambilight. So if you remember last year's 805, it had 3-sided Ambilight, but this year the 806 will gain 4-sided Ambilight, giving you more immersion when you think about the potential bias lighting benefits that can be derived from this integrated bias lighting solution. Or if you really want to go crazy and create a disco in your living room, you can go wild with the Ambilight system that can follow the content on screen in terms of changing the colors, just like what the TV behind me is doing at the moment. I think I can't see it, but that's because my face always has to face the camera. Which brings me to the last, or shall we say, bonus benefit of the 806 over the 805. Now the 806 will be available in 4 screen sizes, namely 48-inch, 55-inch, 65-inch, and also new for 2021, a 77-inch version. This is a broader selection than last year's 805, which was only available in 55-inch and also 65-inch sizes. And I would certainly be interested to see the prices for the 48-inch and also the 77-inch 806 and see whether they compare well with, let's say, the LG C1, which is also available in these screen sizes. If you'd like to watch more videos about 2021 televisions, I've created a playlist here if you'd like to click on it, and I will see you in the next video.